With the dawn of the new year just around the corner, how many issues of the year 2022 will we be taking in to the year 2023? How many new controversies will see the light of day during these last few days of the year 2022? Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on TV1. We've got the details lined up for you. Let's take a look at your top stories first. Parliament that was scheduled to meet on the 17th will reconvene 12 days earlier on the 5th. JVP and residents of Sravasthavela in Panama protest demanding land rights. How can 30 acres of land in Ambevela be given to a private company? Professor Hool demands answers. 1,500 million in medical aid from the President's Fund this year. Kurunegala Mayor's unorthodox method of passing a budget that was defeated earlier. People's Bank interest rates increased to 15.5%. Now on to those stories in detail. The land of a country can be defined as one of the most important assets of a nation. Sri Lanka boasts of a unique biodiversity, and when it comes to lands, there are ample laws and regulations that facilitate the proper use of land. However, over the years, certain attempts were made to take over lands and use them according to one's own whims and fancies, leading to serious socio-economic and environmental concerns. Tonight, we take a look at one of the most recent land grab incidents in the country. On the 27th of December 2022, the locals from Sravasthavela in Panama launched a protest demanding the right to their lands. These people have been living here since 1979 and were moved out of their lands in 1998 due to the security situation at the time to expand the police special task force base. However, the people allege that they were not given any alternative lands after they were moved out. They also note that the police special task force base was not expanded as was mentioned. The locals from Sravasthavela in Panama state that their original lands are now being given out to various other individuals.
Our lands have been cleared. Some of these lands are owned by police officers, Gram Niladhari and state officials. The former chairman of the Pradeshia Sabha and forest department officials also have lands. All these lands have been divided among themselves. It is said that the lands were released but not to us. These lands have been given to some powerful individuals in the country. Constructions are also taking place. Those lands were ours, but we are not allowed to get closer to them. When we raise our concerns, they say that they have permits. All of them are political henchmen.
The issue here is that one group of permit holders were given lands and others were not. Lands with permits have not been touched. However, the lands within the forest, as per the 2005 circular, are being given for permits. This is a conflict between two groups in the village. The Centre for Environmental Justice had taken legal action against the release of other state forests. The state officials are toying around the law.
The divisional secretary of Lahugala visited the protest site to discuss the issue.
ජනවාරි දෙවැනි සතිය දාලා තියෙනවා ලාවගල පානම වසම තියෙන ඉඩම් ප්‍රශ්න කොමේ විශේෂම කරන්න පොත්තිවිල් ලාවගල පානම ඔය දෙක කොටස් තුනටම. ඒකද මම හිතන්නේ මේ ජනවාරි දෙවැනි සතිය මීටින් තියෙනවා. ඒ වෙලාවම අදාළ කට්ටියම හැන්දලා මේ ඉන්කුවරි කරනවා. ඒ වෙනකම් ඕල මේ දාවකරේ නවතනවා. අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මේ කල්පටම රාජ්‍යම මේ ඉවර කරලා දෙනවා.
Shouldn't justice be served to these people who are now displaced in their villages?
Former member of the National Election Commission, Professor Ratnajeevan Hool, in a letter to the President, has questioned the President's directive to immediately release 30 acres of state lands to a farm owned by a private company in Ambewela. The extract from Professor Hool's letter is as follows. Quote, "Are there no worthier people for the gift? With all due respect, can you prove you did not take a bribe under the table in exchange? I believe you cannot answer either of these questions satisfactorily. It means there is no transparency. For your anti-corruption drive to succeed, this kind of arbitrary exercise of power must stop." End quote.
The President's media division said that 1,500 million rupees was already paid for medical aid within this year via the President's fund. Accordingly, work on 10,360 applications has been completed so far. It added that 642 applications were received at the end of the year, which were not completed due to various reasons, and the related money will be settled promptly, and the work is scheduled to be completed within the next few weeks. In addition, a committee consisting of medical experts has been appointed to obtain the necessary recommendations to increase the financial assistance currently paid for surgical and treatment, and President Ranil Wickremesinghe has instructed to increase the amount of medical assistance paid as soon as the recommendations of the committee are made.
Farmers visited the Mihintale Agrarian Services Centre on Friday demanding solutions to their issues. A heated exchange arose between the farmers and the officials during this meeting. These are farmers from the Shuasti agrarian movement in 565 Tulana, Mihintale. The farmers claim that the government fertilizer subsidy nor sufficient compensation for previous season's damaged crops were provided to them. They presented their woes to the officials at the Mihintale Agrarian Services Centre.
එතකොට ඒවා අපේ ගොවි සංවිධානයේ කාටවත්ම නැත්තේ ඇයි? නොමිලේ පොහොර මිටිය ලැබෙන්නේ USAID කියන සංවිධානය මත. හරිද? ඒක නිර්ණායක ටිකක් ගැලපුවා. ඒකට අපේ ගොවි සංවිධානයේ කිසිම කෙනෙක් ඔය නිර්ණායක සපුරලා නැද්ද? නෑ ඉන්නේ සපුරලා තියෙනවා. දැන් මේ මට මේ ලේඛනේ දැන් මෙතන පෙන්නන්න පුළුවන් අපිට පළවෙනි වටේ ආවේ මිටි 149. අපේ 4000 ගානට වඩා පොදුවේ මේ බල ප්‍රදේශයේ ඉන්නවා. හැබැයි ආවේ පොහොරවල තියෙන ගැටලුවක් උඩ හෝ යම්කිසි මොකක් හරි මැතුලේ තිබ්බ දෝෂයක් නිසා ඒ පොහොර මිටි 149යි ආවේ. එතකොට ඒ ඔක්කොම දෙන්න බැහැනේ ගෝවින්ද. කීපයකට දෙන්න වෙන්නේ. ඒකෙත් වසම් 4කට තමයි තේරිලා ආවේ.
When Newsfirst directed this matter to the Deputy Commissioner of Agrarian Services in Anuradhapura, Chaminda Ekanayaka, he said that this situation arose due to a technical fault that occurred when officials of the Mihintale Agrarian Service Centre had updated their computer system. He said that they have received instructions to fix the issue immediately and provide the farmers with the fertilizer that they need.
I am 77 years old. They said that we will get 1.5 sacks of fertilizer, but we haven't got any. When the agrarian organization comes here, they say that we were not registered with them. I am living off farming. We have nothing else to do here. Although they say that they will give us farming loans and compensation for the damaged crops, we got none. Some farmers here were given these concessions.
Farmers suffered immensely for the past 2 seasons due to the arbitrary chemical fertilizer ban imposed by the government at the time. Shouldn't more effective measures be taken to restore the livelihoods of these farmers and develop their farmlands that were destroyed by the inept decisions of the government?
The People's Bank has decided to increase the interest rates for the issued loans to 15.5%. This is in relation to rising interest rates in the market. A senior official of People's Bank said steps will be taken to provide necessary relief to customers after the market situation improves.
The Sri Lankan Parliament, which was originally scheduled to meet on the 17th of January for the first time in 2023, will now meet on the 5th of January, 12 days ahead of the initially fixed date.
The Committee on Parliamentary Business decided to convene Parliament on the 5th of January 2023 as a special Parliament day. Speaking to News First, Speaker Mahinda Apabewardena said that it was decided to convene Parliament on the 5th of January, considering the fact of a lengthy holiday for the Parliament until the 17th of January. However, the 5th of January session will be set aside for the second reading debate of the Bureau of Rehabilitation Bill and the recovery of possession of premises given on lease bill. JVP leader Anurakumara Disanayaka says that various tactics are being used to delay the local government election.
If the local government election is held, Ranil will be able to clearly see where he stands. The Pohottuwa will be able to see where they stand. This will show that they have lost the people's mandate completely. The President and the Pohottuwa will then not be able to wield the power of the people. Therefore, they have an intention to stop this from happening. To achieve this, the government is attempting to use various tactics to postpone the election. The Elections Commission is acting in a manner to allow the government's conspiracy to postpone the election. The election could have been announced on any day between the 20th of September this year and the 19th of January next year. The government attempted to establish a delimitation committee. They tried to change the electoral system. You may remember the statements made by Ranil Wickremesinghe. He said that if Parliament does not agree, he will hold a referendum. But all of their attempts to postpone this election that should be held according to the law have failed. The commission has now been pushed against the wall. They cannot postpone the election anymore. It has come to the last few days. Therefore, we hope that the date for the nominations will be announced before the 5th. But now there is also talk about an attempt to postpone the election after accepting nominations. We would like to inform Ranil Wickremesinghe and his government not to play around with the mandate of the people.
The Samagi Jana Balawegaya says that it is not possible to delay the election after accepting nominations.
The government is spreading a story that the election will be postponed after the nominations are accepted. I would like to inform you that governments in the past attempted to do it as well. But when they went to court, the court said that the elections cannot be postponed. If the government attempts to do it again, myself and Ranjit Madhuwa Bandara have filed a case. If they do it on the 18th, we will ask the court to take steps to hold this election. Therefore, do not fear. There may be a delay, but the elections will not be postponed.
The Samagi Jana Balawegaya continued their selection of candidates for the local government election. Interviews for potential candidates from several districts were held at the party headquarters.
We have received information that since it has officially been announced that Sri Lanka is bankrupt, and for Sri Lanka to access funds from the World Bank, they are trying to bring this as a reason and postpone the election. We would like to ask Ranil Wickremesinghe not to play this game. If you do this, we will bring people from across the country onto the streets. If that happens, we won't just be demanding for an election, we will also send the president home. The country is being governed by a group that has been rejected by the people. The president is not a person who was elected by the vote of the people. The rulers should be individuals elected with the mandate of the people.
A group of members of the Kurunegala Municipal Council complained to the governor of the Northwestern Province, stating that the mayor had illegally passed the budget that was previously defeated. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna controls the Kurunegala Municipal Council. The budget presented by the mayor of Kurunegala, Tushara Sanjeeva Vitharana, was defeated by 7 votes on the 20th of December 2022. However, on Thursday, the mayor had suddenly summoned the municipal council and announced that the budget was passed. A group of members of the Kurunegala Municipal Council had informed the governor of the Northwestern Province, Admiral of the Fleet Vasantha Karanagoda, about this matter. Both government and opposition members of the Kurunegala Municipal Council had visited the governor to inform him of the situation.
We defeated the budget of the Kurunegala Municipal Council. 14 members of the council voted against the budget and only 7 members voted in favour of it. A special meeting of the Municipal Council was held on the 20th. During the special meeting, in addition to the special matters discussed, at the end of the meeting, the mayor announced that he will consider the budget that was defeated as a budget that was passed. He then walked out of the chamber. The members of the council were not even allowed to speak. He is saying that the budget will not be presented for a second time. This is a serious issue and could lay a very bad precedent in the country. Therefore, we informed the governor about this situation. There is a municipal council's ordinance. We have an issue with the fact that this mayor is acting in contravention of the provisions of the municipal council's ordinance. This is problematic and we have informed the governor about this.
Speaking to News First, the mayor of Kurunegala, Tushara Sanjeeva, said that he cannot comment on the matter as he is planning on taking legal action. Sources from the Northwestern Province Governor's Office said that the matter will be directed to the Attorney General and thereafter necessary action will be taken.
News First with the people.
Adarsha Karadana, who revealed details about the actions of former advisor to the President, Professor Ashu Marasinghe, filed a complaint with the Human Rights Commission.
Adarsha Karandana arrived at the Human Rights Commission with a lawyer to lodge a complaint stating that the Criminal Investigation Department is investigating the complaint lodged by Ashu Marasinghe instead of launching a proper investigation regarding the complaint filed by her. She requested the Human Rights Commission to ensure the right to equality in the presence of the law.
I believe everyone is treated equally before the law in Sri Lanka. That fundamental right has been violated for me. I came to lodge a complaint regarding that with the Human Rights Commission.
Journalists also questioned her regarding the company she ran with Ashu Marasinghe to send youth to Japan.
I am still a 50% co-owner of the company, a director and the CEO of the company. However, I didn't go to the company for several days due to death threats and the risk to my life. He influenced me to leave the company. If I am to leave the company lawyer and a person who's very close to him proposed that I negotiate this. I think negotiating and extortion is two different things. I do not need to extort from my own company.
He has said it is a fake video, but we have lodged a complaint regarding the video and the criminal activity that is revealed through the video. The CID must take action promptly. It is a sensitive topic that is being discussed in society. He was the advisor to the President of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. He is within the President's infamous inner circle. As a leading member of the infamous inner circle is involved in this, we have a fear that the investigations are being influenced. Accordingly, we have directed the attention of the Human Rights Commission regarding our complaint. Are you waiting for him to go overseas? That is why we urge them to take action immediately.
The Right to Life Human Rights Centre presented a report containing the human rights violations that took place during the public uprising in Sri Lanka in 2022. The report had gone deep into 3 separate incidents and made recommendations. These incidents are the shooting in Rambukkana, the attack on Gotagogama, and the series of counterattacks that took place in the evening on the 9th of May 2022. The Right to Life Human Rights Centre had made recommendations on these events. These recommendations include updating the police ordinance, documenting all the investigations conducted by the independent commissions and the findings of those commissions, and introducing a truth commission to take necessary action on those investigations. The Right to Life Human Rights Centre also recommends an investigation on the accountability of former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, his government and senior officials.
There are 13 people who were injured during the Rambukkana unrest. My son pleaded when he was being beaten. My father is at the Kergol police. They are disregarding everything. My son was beaten and a dozen more were put into the jeep with him. They were tied with coir and kicked inside the jeep. We never wanted our children to engage in such struggles. They are still studying. We never forced them to do that. An 18-year-old boy is not one who can be kept inside the house. Their morale is high. The tears of all the parents of the victims of the Rambukkana incident would curse these officials. That is all I have to say.
We got involved in the Aragale as a non-partisan movement. When the Aragale grew, violence also crept in. They tried to justify the violence, and some rights activists were among them. we do not believe that it is possible. When violence creeps into the Aragalaya, it is the responsibility of the state to prevent violence. Then at the final call, the JVP comrades called on the people to capture the parliament. The people rushed there. That is a separate story. So when that happens, it is the responsibility of the government to protect the state. What happens if that was not the case? We are aware of who the police are. We are aware of the other state bodies. We have a renewed opportunity to recreate this country.
Just the year 2021 and 22 brought forth unprecedented challenges to the people. We do not know what the 2023 will bring. The Commission is as a key independent body to promote and protect the human rights of the people in Sri Lanka will take every effort to fully realize the human rights of the people.
The former chairman of the Peradeniya University Student Union, Anuradha Vidanage, who was arrested on Thursday, was produced to the Kandy Chief Magistrate on Friday and was further remanded until the 4th of January. He was arrested by the Criminal Investigations Department on charges of assaulting the former Vice-Chancellor of the university and his son.
Up next is Biz First.
Biz First.
The Department of Census and Statistics said the overall rate of inflation measured by the Colombo Consumer Price Index for December 2022 was 57.2% compared to 61% for November 2022. In addition, food inflation dropped to 64.4% in December 2022 from 73.7% in November 2022. There is strong opposition over the attempt being made to hike the electricity tariff again. The Electricity Users Association said that a program to obtain 6.9 million votes against it will be launched.
නව වසරේ දෙවැනි දිනේ ඉඳන් අපි මේ විදුලි බිල වැඩි කිරීමට එරෙහිව
On the 2nd of January at 6 a.m. we will launch the program to collect signatures of the Kalaniya Raja Mahaviharya. The Public Utilities Commission was not informed of this attempt to hike the electricity tariff. The PUCSL has also put forward their proposals to add low-cost power plants to the grid. There is a 25 megawatt plant that is yet to be added to the grid. There are 4 bio plants including solar power plants. A recommendation was made to commence power generation from Uma Oya in May. Street lamps are fixed with zero management. The public sector uses the office AC from the moment they step into their workplace. The cutting down of tree branches is another contract awarded to relatives. There are 26,000 workers to cut down tree branches, but there are only 1,000 engineers. If we take away the fixing of wires and light posts, around 25 billion rupees can be sourced.
The Consumer Consultative Committee, which comes under the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka, convened a media briefing to comment on the electricity tariff hike.
There was a tariff hike in August. If another tariff hike of 80% comes into effect, where would the people stand? For a unit of electricity, from 0 to 30 units, they pay only 8 rupees. And with a fixed rate, it is 120 rupees. They have to pay a total of 360 rupees. If a tariff hike comes in January, they will be forced to pay 2,000 rupees. Is this fair? Around 40% of the consumers use between 30 to 60 units. They pay 10 rupees per unit, and with fixed rates it comes to 240 rupees. Then the entire bill comes to 7,800 rupees. However, if the cabinet paper is approved in January, they will have to pay 3,310 rupees.
මේ කැබිනට් පත්‍රිකාව අනුමත වුණොතින් ඔවුන්ට රුපියල් 3,310ක මුදලක් ගෙවන්න.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa says that the country will be freed from bankruptcy under a Samagi Jana Balavegya government. The opposition leader made this statement while speaking at an event in Urubukka.
A bus was donated to the Urubukka National School under the Sakwala program initiated under a concept of Sajid Premadasa. This was the 55th bus donated under the program.
I will not allow the people to suffer under our government. The people will not be left in hunger. The people will not be left in hardship. This is not easy. It is a great challenge. We have the ability to unite the country and save it from bankruptcy. There is state terrorism in our country today. This is a police state. Why am I saying this? University students have no freedom today. Recently, unidentified groups came and abducted students. A few hours after he was abducted, the police say that they were the ones who arrested him. How can this happen? If someone has committed a crime, enforce the law. But the government cannot abduct students as and when the government and security forces feel like it.
The President of the Republic of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, has accepted the credentials of the newly appointed ambassador of Sri Lanka to the Republic of Turkey.
The newly appointed ambassador of Sri Lanka to the Republic of Turkey, Saranya Hasantiurugodawat Disanayake, presented credentials to President of the Republic of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, on the 27th of December 2022 at the Presidential Complex in Ankara, accrediting her as the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka to the Republic of Turkey. During the meeting, President Erdogan extended his greetings to President of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, Ranil Wickremesinghe. He further recalled Sri Lanka's long-standing bilateral relations with Turkey, with connections dating back to around 9th century during the Ottoman Empire. President Erdogan expressed his pleasure on the continuous support for the operation of Turkish Airlines in Sri Lanka, stating that during the COVID-19 pandemic, Turkish Airlines was one of the few airlines that continued its services between Istanbul and Colombo. Ambassador Disanayake also briefed President Erdogan on Sri Lanka's current economic and political situation and assured that to her utmost ability she remains committed to promote historical relations for the mutual benefit of both countries.
Several days ago, a boat carrying 105 people was rescued by the Sri Lanka Navy, and IFRC confirmed that all of them were Myanmar nationals heading towards Malaysia or Indonesia.
IFRC says that several boats reportedly set off from Bangladesh between the 25th and 27th of November 2022, carrying displaced people from Rakhine, Myanmar. Based on previous movements and established routes, it is assumed that the intended destination was either Malaysia or Indonesia. Following a field assessment by the Sri Lanka Red Cross Society, International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, it has been confirmed that the Sri Lanka Navy received 105 displaced people from Rakhine, Myanmar, including 49 children and 56 adults. Furthermore, 21 unaccompanied children and 1 elderly person were identified among the arrivals. The UNHRC has communicated that it will provide shelter to those in need. It was reported during the initial assessment that UNHRC plans to rent out 2 residences so that women and children can be relocated from the detention camp to those residences as soon as possible.
The prestigious Riaz Ismail Annual Scholarship Fund awarded scholarships to worthy students at a ceremony at the Mandarina Hotel in Colombo recently.
An event was held to felicitate the recipients of the Riaz Ismail Annual Scholarship Fund on Friday the 23rd of December. The event was held on the occasion of the late Mohammed Riaz Ismail's 80th birth anniversary. His Holiness Died Mohammed Aslam Jifri Ibn Said Abdul Rahman Jifri Maulana graced the occasion as chief guest, while former Secretary to the Ministry of Trade and Cooperatives Dr. R.M.K. Ratnayaka attended as the guest of honor. The keynote address was delivered by the former Deputy General Manager of the Bank of Ceylon and former diplomat Al-Hajj MSM Liaudin.
He is regarded as the greatest footballer of all times, and at his peak was the highest paid athlete in the world. Growing up, his family was so poor they couldn't afford a football. Pele, one of soccer's greatest players and a transformative figure in the 20th century sports, who achieved a level of global celebrity few athletes known, died on Thursday. He was 82 years old at the time of his demise.
Born Edson Arantes do Nascimento on 23rd October 1940 in Brazil, he earned the nickname Pelé after mispronouncing Bile, a goalkeeper who played for Vasco da Gama during his childhood. Pelé made his professional debut all the way back in 1956. Aged just 15, the legendary forward lined up for Santos against Corinthians Santo André. Then, in July 1957, Pelé opened his international scoring account. Pelé has scored 77 goals in 92 international football matches, making him Brazil's all-time top scorer. With international records, even from that era, far more well organized, these numbers are undisputed. Pelé also scored 1,281 goals in 1,363 appearances during a 21-year career. The magical soccer star have won a record 3 World Cups for his country, and no other football star has won the World Cup 3 times. After his 3 World Cups, he also earned the nickname King. The 1958 World Cup that brought Pelé's Brazil to prominence was the first time the nickname O Rei arrived. One of the most prolific scorers in history, he had 655 goals from 700 official club games. Pelé was once named by FIFA as the greatest player of the 20th century. The Brazilian legend never played in the Olympic Games, but in 1999 he was voted the Athlete of the Century by NOCs all over the world. Time magazine named him as one of the 100 most important people of the 20th century. In 2000, Pelé was voted World Player of the Century by the International Federation of Football History and Statistics. After retiring in 1977, Pelé was a worldwide ambassador for football. He was later named as an honorary president of the reformed New York Cosmos in 2010. Pelé had been receiving treatment for cancer in recent years, and he entered the hospital several weeks ago for treatment of a variety of health issues including respiratory infection. Pelé's daughter, Kelly Cristina, shared a heartfelt Instagram post in the wake of the Brazilian football legend's death. "Everything we are is thanks to you. We love you infinitely. Rest in peace," the translation of the post read. Legendary player Pelé's funeral date has been confirmed and will be held on Monday at the place of his previous club Santos. After 3-time World Cup winner died at the age of 82, the president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, declared 3 days of mourning. Pelé's story will always be associated with the famous yellow shirt of Brazil and the FIFA World Cup. He will also be the king for all eternity.
That's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. God bless.